lamb and the different lamb cuts that we do, and a few different tips on how to cook them and that. So, I suppose we'll start with the leg of lamb, Tom, right? Just talk about it.
Good.
Yeah. Sorry, now we're very happy with our lamb. That's our ear tag now and then. I'll just show you how big it works from here on our light here. This is all our lambs there, most of our lambs are Texel and Suffolk cross. And when we try to get them, we try and get them cold weight, they call it, about 22 kilos to 23 kilos. And that gives us nice consistency of eyes and stuff like that. Because with the leg of lamb now too, because it is an expensive, especially this year, it's an expensive cut. So if like that way, we would call that perfect now. Do you know, it's perfect size.
Beautiful,
you know?
and there's not too much fat.
Not too much fat. Usually with the lamb, we're looking for between 2 and 3 millimeters of fat.
Of course.
Because it's one of those cuts, as you know, Tom, the fat doesn't really work that well with it as such, do you know? So
you need a bit of fat to be able to render it into meat.
To render it, yeah. Do you know, like if this was very lean like that now, we just wouldn't go near it, do you know? Yeah. When we grade our lambs, we're lucky enough with the farmers we deal with, they understand what lamb we want, and they're raising them for that, around that weight for us, do you know? This is our easy carved leg of lamb, which is this is our same as this, but we take the bone out and we stuff it. This is very popular cut as well.
And the stuffing in it as well.
Stuffing in it as well. So we take all that bone out here, so we've only the shank and they can slice it then. And we do this. We do them with shoulders of lamb as well, which are very popular at Easter time as well. And we do them with a mint. This is just a royal mint that we put on that. And we also put kind of a rosemary and fennel. These, I suppose these are one of our biggest sellers, is the rack lamb. You can really see the quality in the lamb now when you bring it up like that and the bones are clear, and just the eye of it there. And the boys will be giving us mention that that's prime cut, yeah. Do you know, and we take everything away, we take any fat from the inside, you know, so especially with racks of lamb too, because they're probably shorter. These are fairly thick, as you can see. We call these our lamb T-bones. Now normally our lamb chops would be a half the size of that, but because the lamb is so nice, we wanted to cut it through just the joint, just to show.
Gorgeous.
Oh, it's fab, like it's real, and like even
they cut really quick as well, don't they?
Very quick, yeah. Jeez, they're fabulous, yeah. That's it on the bone there now, and like we can trim it all down, so there's a good cover of fat over it then. And you can see it's gone all the way through the lambs. That's what we're looking from the leg all the way through to the shoulder. Colour, yeah. And that's what you're looking for. When people say to you about lamb, that that's if you're buying it, that's what you're looking for. That's as good as it gets.
Oh yeah, that's stunning.
And the same thing with lamb. Even with our sidelines, we do them, which is also your rump lamb. Those sidelines, we cut them into thicker chops as well. But they'd be like your sirloin steaks, as you know, from the yeah. And these are rump lamb that we leave. We leave it in the piece. Then we find these are popular as well because they're like you can feed 2 or 3 people. It's nice,
beautiful, isn't it?
It's 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And we might talk about the cooking bags in a minute, Tom. There's no panic. But they'd be our main sellers. Then we'd have with our leg of lamb. We also do butterfly leg of lamb. Same thing there. We can do cook in the bag.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
So we were saying there, you can cook them in the bag. We can put the seasoning in. It's all done. Especially now, like even during the weekend, that like when you're kind of cut for time, we find these are great. You know, have a time on them. The only thing is like we prefer people if they took them out of the bag then and just finish them off with herbs or seasoning and stuff like that. Just a little bit of salt and pepper.
The butter's already in there, isn't it?
Butter's in there. We've been using that West Kelly one there, that lemon pepper one. It's nice. Do you know? And it's not. It does. It brings out the flavour, especially we find it with the lamb and that lamb fat. These are gastron. That's our lamb. That's our lamb suit. You know, off the kidneys.
Yeah.
Then we just season it with salt and pepper and a few herbs.
If you use that instead of oil, then for seasoning, for sealing off your lamb.
Sealing off your lamb. And we see even a small bit of it. Like now, as you can see, it's a bit rough looking in that too, but it's lovely. Do you know, we press it down. We try and just render it down. Yeah. So we just put that into it as well, and it does it. Especially if it's off the same lamb, it all adds to it. Well, these are our little lamb ribeyes I was telling you about, Tom. Very few places do them. It's an Australian cut. There, that a good friend of ours from the shop there, Brendan Watts, was showing us the last time he was over here. And these are our. Do you remember our jigger chops from years ago? So we seamed the whole shoulder off now, and we've realised over the last few years to develop it into separate. You know, we seam the muscles separately, then so you get a better cut.
But you slice it into cutlets.
Slice it into cutlets, yeah.
And just pan fried.
Pan fried.
You could even leave the cling film on and just whip it off after.
Whip it off after. And we find with these, you could roast them. Like you could do anything with them, and like we cut them into little lamb steaks and that as well. You know, and they're nice and lean. And we take all that fat away then from them. That's just our diced lamb. Then we usually the diced. Yeah, still a massive seller. Like we'd even at the moment, especially this time of year now, as it's coming into kind of the winter and that, now it's more and more of it that we're doing. And that's it there. We just vacuum pack it in a cooking bag as well for people there. Do you know, because sometimes they want to cook it off first or a different time, and then, do you know, if they're doing it for curries.
Yeah,
like that,
beautiful. Yeah.
And we
Just put some
decided
spices in it after and seal it in the pan.
seal it in the pan, yeah. And
Even for pita breads or something like that. Wouldn't it be
fat, yeah. Because we realised there too, if you leave any fat on this for the kids, and even for a curry, that like they won't go near it.
No.
It's different as you like as your palate, and as you get older, and like for yourselves, it's okay,
Indeed.
you know. So we realised we have to spend a lot of time trimming to make sure we get them down to that. They're those little drumsticks that we call them, that we were showing you last
They'll be
week.
beautiful braise. Now they take a good 4 hours, I'd say, to braise them, but they'll be falling off.
Falling off, yeah.
Gorgeous.
And then we cut some of them then into little lamb ossobuco, just to put in with the lamb stew, just to get a bit more flavour in it, do you know.
So the bone, it has loads of flavour in the bone.
Loads.
So it's beautiful.
And see with this as well, Tom, we use that as well. Just there, that's when we bone out the neck, but we just put it in for flavour as well. But we used to do that cut in England there, do you remember? And it was Jesus, it's fabulous. Like,
Gorgeous.
you know, loads and
The
loads
meat
of
on the bone
flavour.
there is beautiful.
And all you could, you know, and you don't even have to use it, but it saves you.
Adds loads of flavour.
Adds loads of flavour. Especially from talking to you even over the last few weeks and before this, like it's all about the flavour and just adding subtly the flavour to it. So there
Just give it a good caramelising in the pan, just roast it, and the flavour that comes off the bones is unbelievable.
and you don't have to add anything else. You have it all. Like we're giving these away free time. Like we give them to people. Like, do you know what I mean? Because you want, and these are little lamb marrow bones too. And we're saying like if people want them, just throw them in with your stew. You don't have to use them.
Gorgeous.
Do you know? And it gets all your marrow out, and you've loads of flavour. That's the blade bone one
Yeah, from the shoulder, isn't it?
from the shoulder. We were stuffing that with garlic butter then, and do you know that mint butter and putting it in with it as well. But it just we had to freeze them. We've no freezing facilities here. Do you know to get that nice look in it?
Yeah.
That's those, Tom. We're just there are little four. We started doing these because we find these even during the week. They're little 4-bone racks, just with mint butter and rosemary. They're lovely, and you've all the flavours in it.
And
You
they'll
can
cook in the oven as well, in the bag.
in the bag.
Yeah, so you could go half, put it in 20 minutes maybe in
20
the bag,
minutes.
low heat, and
Low
then
heat,
seal
yeah.
it in the pan.
Seal it in the pan.
Crust.
Crust, yeah. We had them there. Well, we're having them today with that Costco's. And it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
some crusts.
Do you know, and something like that that's easy during the week, and you've nice, do you know, nice tasty meal, and it's not overdone. There are shanks lamb, Tom, which are very popular.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and we do them we're doing them in a cooking bag there now as well, the same as this. Ideal, and you can put all your flavour into it, open the bag, and then finish it off as if you need to, you know.
Yeah, or you could even simmer them as well if they're in a pot of water.
In a pot
You
of
know,
water,
not boiling,
yeah.
not rapidly boiling, but if you were to drop them in a
And
pot.
there's those little cooking bags, like, and as you can see, like
2 hours.
2 hours, yeah. And we did them like that's done about 3 days, and you can still see the freshness, like in them.
Beautiful.
Now all these lambs, and we were aging them. We aged them for about 8 or 9 days. I think these are 8 days, but it needs it. Like you need that solid, Tom, don't you?
Oh, you do, definitely, yeah. You can't have them too fresh.
No,
They'd be tough too.
tough, yeah. And these are starting to get popular now as well, which is just a little fillet sandwich, which is just our half legs of lamb.
Yeah.
So we've been doing the same. We're telling people there do the same, finish it off, you know. And with these cooking bags, we find, and the trays, they're just handy
Nice
for
and
people.
tidy, and all the flavours locked in, then
Locked
the
in,
herbs and
yeah.
stuff. Beautiful.
Especially, you see there too, I find the hardest part is the roasting dishes, stuff everywhere. Do you know, if you can get it like this and you have your thing all done. So that's probably our lamb. We've got one prepped one there for just that you're going to do afterwards, the crust on it, Tom. But lamb is still, like, it's still, I suppose, our second most popular meat, you know. And it's just trying to show people a few little things that you can do with it, that's all. We find even with these shoulders, Tom, that we're putting them in these cooking bags as well, with feta cheese, the same type of mint as this, sun-dried tomatoes, anything like that, you know. Especially for the summer, it's nice, but the winter time, if we can make small joints like this as well, maybe half the size, you know, and feed 3 or 4 or 5 people, like, and you're done. We had one of these left over now. The meat we had them, just put it in top of the pizza, and we had some for stuff.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice
And you
and
can
easy.
shred it up afterwards, yeah. Keep it
Shred
in
it up
the
and
fridge.
fog, and it's beautiful.
Into a sandwich.
Into a sandwich, yeah.
Put a little bit of
Yeah.
couscous, use it like a stuffing in your sandwich, beautiful. Or in a
Fat,
paper bread.
yeah. And even for the kids for school, it's nice.
Ideal.
Do you know?
And the shoulder as well, then you can cook it. If you cook that slowly,
Beautiful. That's the
rub it
shoulder.
with some nice
That's the
spices.
shoulder of the, and we left it on the bowl just for a bit more flavour.
They'd be beautiful now. About
Tom.
4 hours in the oven,
Oh.
160 degrees covered.
We did them there usually around the winter time, but we did them last year there when the rugby was on, put them on in the morning, big lumps of carrots, potatoes per morning together, which were seasoned, and just even come back in the door at 4 o'clock in the morning.
And it's falling off the bone.
Falling off the board.
Yeah.
Do you know?
They're nearly as handy as the leg, really, because you can't overcook them.
No.
You know, put them in really slow.
Really
over-
slow.
Oh.
And like we find their Sunday's an ideal day, especially if you have any activities on a Sunday or you're going walking, we're doing it, put them in the morning, come back and it's done. It's all in one
The
tray.
smell when you walk in the door. Oh.
Finished. Oh, it's to God. You'd be rushing home. So that's our lamb, Tom. We're just going to can even see with the eye, it's lovely.
Oh, it's like beautiful. And they'll cook really fast, you know,
Really
20 minutes for a lovely pink lamb. Beautiful.
And it's nice too when people come in there too, like, because we are butchers, like, but like as you see here, Tom, it's a very family oriented butcher shop, you know, so
Yeah.
we're saying to people, we're here to do whatever makes it easy for them, you know.
Absolutely,
It's
that's
like-
what it's all about now.
Yeah, our job is to trim everything, you know, and people say, no, it's like, yeah, do you know what it's like to have kids there and you're busy. Even we were talking to Tom this morning, like, it's a busy week.
It is, you need to have it all boxed up. So with the wrap, just a little bit of salt and pepper. These are beautiful looking wraps. So just a little salt and pepper on each. And what we've done is I've made a herb crust.
Okay, yeah.
So what we'll do, we'll seal it off in a hot pan.
Yes.
So this is going to catch fire there.
Lovely.
It's hot all right, anyway.
We did the pork at home the other night, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
That, like,
Pork belly.
Yeah, and I sealed it on the pan like you showed us. Oh my God.
But it's just, oh, it does, yeah. Just, it adds lovely flavour to it. Flavour. Caramelizes this. It makes it so sweet. Just a couple of minutes on each side. Now with a wrap like this, about 165 degree oven, 170 degree oven, or even you can go even higher and just put it in for less.
Yes.
About 15 minutes,
15.
and then take it out and leave it rest.
And resting a big part of it too, Tom.
Resting 5 minutes at least. Now, if you rest it for a little bit longer, you might need to put it back in just to heat it up again.
Yes.
But resting it will, all the muscles will relax in the blood and all the juices will seep back into the meat. Oh, you're fine. It's just nice and golden brown. And that way then none of the juices will seep out of the meat. They'll stay in it. So you've sealed all the outside so none of the flavour will be released.
We even find out, like, do you know, we're just like when we're bringing home, you're just popping it in the oven. Doing it this way makes a huge difference.
But you can have this done, like if you wanted to rack of lamb for during the week, have this done and it'll last a couple of days in the fridge, even sealed like that.
Yeah.
With your, rub a bit of mustard onto it, keep it in the fridge for a day or two, you know, so if you're in a hurry on a Monday or Tuesday night or whatever.
Especially if it's the afternoon, you have a few hours to do stuff. You should
Oh,
take
get it all done, get all the prep done.
Now, these are some of the ribeyes, Tom, and these are the jigger chops, but we seam them out into separate cuts. And as you can see, like, we're world champions as well, and we brought this into things. So, and as world champions, like I suppose there's an onus on us to come up with alternative cuts and stuff like that. And not, don't they? You know, we're very proud of these now, I won't lie to you. But just to come, because we were saying when we look at lamb and stuff like that, you can't just look at it as the two legs racks and jigger chops. Like, we have to look at it the way, like, as today in the modern cuisine of cooking and stuff like that, I suppose we call it. But like, as world champions too, and winning the World Cup, like, there's a big onus in here is to keep developing and keep moving forward. Because like anything else, because we're on the top, we think we're on the top of what we're doing, we're being copied a lot, you know.
Yeah,
there's a lot of butchers coming in trying to do the same as we're doing. So we always have to keep, like, that's no onus to them either, like, do you know what I mean? Because it's all, but it's on us to keep developing, you know.
Yeah, and people want variety too, don't they?
They want variety too, like, and we're just not happy just coming in breaking lambs. Like, you're looking for different flavours and stuff that before they were like we weren't married the flavours enough, I suppose, you know what I mean? And kind of now we have more thought about everything that we put into it, you know, from the minute we do it, we try not to do it that day. If we have any new ideas, we try and leave it for a week to kind of, you know, you come up with something different. But these are fab, Tom, like.
They look divine,
yeah,
don't
like these are your regular jigger chops, like, and they're completely different to what you get, you know. So we've seen them out into individual, I suppose, muslins and that. We've rolled them against the grain, you know. But like, I wouldn't say some of it's trial and error, but when you're in competitions and you're seeing butchers from all over the world and the way they're thinking about meat and stuff like that too, like, it's very exciting too to change it, you know, and to see.
That'll look gorgeous on the plate. No, it wouldn't last on the plate very long.
No.
Around,
No. And even these little ribs, if you want to do, you know, with the kids out there, they don't want to you can get these done, they're quick. Same thing, you could have, instead of your centre line chops, you have these, and like, you see no place selling ribeyes in that, you know.
Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Which is great, and these we're very happy with these. When we trim the fat off, even the colour off them, you know. Like, you never think jigger chops were like that, where you're jigger chops
Yes,
before
bones.
big bones and everything like that, you know.
it's nice too to be cutting it off the bone, but you have these in no time, they're beautiful.
No
aren't
time.
they? And it's
Just-
just the convenience of it. Quick pan fry, leave it rest, that's it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
We'll try plating up a few.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is couscous we made. Just a very simple. A little bit of Cajun spice in the biscuit, a little bit, just to bring out the flavours. And put some chopped herbs and some mint into it. Just mould it into it.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, press it.
I like all that mould and tourists, and we do it with the rice and those things, turn them
Yeah.
over, you know, and you get a nice, it's a nice shape to it then, isn't it?
Lovely,
Do you know?
and portion size too. Did you know?
Portion size, yeah.
That's what it's all about now. Portion size.
Yeah.
Watch the portion sizes. I wish I did.
I wish I did too, yeah. The tastes good, Tom, the taste good. There's no portion size after that.
To press the couscous into the mold, now you can use anything, you can use a cup, you know, you don't have to have these square molds, you can have anything at all. And then we have a little bit of gravy. Just,
I tried that chicken gravy again last week.
oh yeah,
Oh, Tom.
the flavours and
Oh my God, yeah. We gravy
Drizzle.
stuff, yeah.
a drizzle of gravy. And here we made a little raita, just cucumber and mint, a little bit of yogurt, and drizzle that around, but very, very simple, keep it simple. We'll do the same here.
Jeez, Tom, even the presentation there's lovely, isn't it?
Not one of these ribeyes pan fried, but here we have something like chops.
Jeez, even you can, you know the smell of all of it, even the gravy. Jesus, lovely, yeah. Jeez, you'd be happy with that.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And these are just pan
I
fried.
hope Fiona's taking note of this now. This is what this is my expectations now.
For dinner.
Couscous in it. Just a couple of chops. Now the lines of the ribeyes would be beautiful in that too. That's a very simple dish.
And very presentable, Tom, isn't it? Make it look
Yeah.
easy.
There you go. A little bit of sage.
Beautiful.